Hello everyone, in this video we'll be solving a problem from design of shaft where the shaft will be carrying two gears. In last video we have seen shaft carrying two pulley and belt arrangement, its design. So first we'll be seeing the question and according to which we'll be completing the shaft layout. So here a horizontal shaft supported on bearings A and B at the left and right end, and it carries two gears, one at location C and the other at location D, and their respective distances 0.25 meter right to the left bearing and 0.4 meter left to the right bearing, and their diameters is given. Diameter of C is 600 mm and diameter of D is 200 mm. In some cases the number of teeth and modules of gears will be specified. In that case diameter you can find from the module into number of teeth. So here the number of the diameter of the both gears are directly given, and the distance between the two bearing ends is 2400 mm, that means 2.4 meter, and from this you can find this distance as 1.75 meter. So the shaft is transmitting a power 20 kilowatts at 120 rpm, so you can evaluate the torque transmitted. So first we will be evaluating the torque transmitted. So you are having the power transmitted by the shaft is equal to 2 pi n t divided by 60. So if you are solving this one, you can evaluate the torque. Here power is given as 20 kilowatt. So this power is 20 kilowatt and this n is 120 rpm. So you can evaluate the torque T, then you will be getting torque of 1590 Newton meter. So this is the first step, and here the power is delivered to the gear C. Power is delivered to the gear C means this gear C will be acting as a driven gear. So it is driven or provided power by some other. So this is the driven gear, and then C will be getting power. Then the gear D will be acting as a driver since it is rotating. So this will be a driver, and here we have to find the diameter of the shaft if the working stresses are given. So we will be making use of this equations. Already we have seen the last video, so we will be making use of these equations. For this we have to evaluate the different forces, components acting at the gear location, similar to the last one. In case when you are having pulley and belt arrangement, their belt tensions, the tight and slack side tensions are coming as load, but in the gears some other force components will be coming, and we will be seeing that. So here gear C and D are here, and we already given the gear C is driven by some other thing, so it will be a driven gear, and since gear C is rotating, we will be assuming some rotation for C, and then according to that the entire shaft will be rotating and gear D will be rotating. So this will be becoming a gear D will be becoming a driver, and here where the gears which are meshing with this will be coming. So suppose the gear which is meshing with the C can come here, or C can come here, or he can come here, or can come here, and this will be depending upon the force direction which is mentioned in this question. So in this question it is mentioned that the tangential force components are acting vertically downward. So according to which we have to place the gears which are coming in mesh with this properly. So we will be seeing how to locate this force components correctly, or how to mark the other gears which are coming in mesh with this one. So here you can see the gears which are coming in mesh with the our gears which are coming in the shaft. So the gear which is coming in the shaft at the C location is this one, and that is here you can see, and the gear which is coming at a location D is this one, and you can see here in red color. So there are two components of forces acting on the gear when they are transmitting forces. One is known as tangential component and radial component. So you can see the tangential component force is acting downward. So this is the condition given in question. So according to which you have to mark the gear which is coming in contact with or meshing with the C, and that will be the driver gear for C. Already mentioned the C which is coming on our shaft is driven, and to satisfy this FTC to be acting downwards, this gear should come at this position. So this black is the driver gear for C, and this is the gear which is coming on our shaft, or the shaft to be designed is here. So this is a shaft to be designed, and I am showing some blue circles. The black and this green circle will be representing the pitch circle, and this point is known as pitch point, and this will be known as the base circle, and this will be the base circle for this gear C, and this are having importance in the finding the line of action or the force transmitted. So force transmitted will be tangential to the base circle and it will pass through the pitch point, and this driver gear will try to rotate. As a result, this gear will rotate in this direction. So this is the net force which is acting, and it can be resolved into two components. One is this tangential component and the other one is radial component. And here the component which is helping in transmitting the power, the transmitting the torque, is the tangential component. So this tangential component is producing the torque. So you can have the torque T is equal to the tangential component FTC into RC. Already RC is known, so you can evaluate the FTC. Then you will be getting the FTC as 5300 Newton. Next you have to evaluate the radial component, that is FRC. For that you will be making use of the pressure angle. So what is pressure angle? Pressure angle is the angle between this common tangent to the base circle and the common tangent to the pitch circle's pitch point, that is this is alpha. So this angle will also be alpha, and from this you can find the relation between FTC and FRC as the FRC radial component will be equal to FTC into tan alpha. So from this you can get the value of FTC, and FTC will be equal to FRC. You are evaluating FRC, and FRC will be equal to 1929 Newton. So this the tangential and the radial component, you can evaluate the magnitude you have obtained. In a similar way, we will be evaluating the tangential and radial components for the gear D. So we will be looking for the gear D which is coming on our shaft, and I am drawing this pitch circle and its base circle at this location. And here also we have to place the gear which is coming in mesh with this one in such a way that the tangential component is acting. So now the shaft is rotating. So now as a result of this assumed direction, this is rotating in anti-clockwise sense. So this is rotating in anti-clockwise sense. So the shaft is rotating anti-clockwise. So gear D is also rotating anti-clockwise. So now our gear is becoming a driver. So this will drive whichever gear is coming in mesh. So here you can see this is the gear D which is coming on our shaft, and our shaft is located at this location. And the gear which is coming in mesh will be in this position so that the given condition will be satisfied. So this driver is rotating in anti-clockwise direction. This will be trying to rotate or transfer the force along a direction which is the common tangent to the base circles shown in blue color. The applied force on the driven will be coming in this direction. But our shaft to be designed is lying in this position. So we have to draw the free body diagram of this one. So this is the force applied by driver to the driven, but we have to draw the free body diagram of driver. So its reaction or the opposite force will be taken for the resolving or for finding component. So this will be the final vector which we will be taking. So this can be resolved into two components such that this is tangential component. So as a result, the tangential component acting on gear D is satisfying the mentioned condition. So it is acting vertically downwards, and this will be FRD, the radial component. So how you can evaluate the FRD and FTD? So here this torque you are already having. So torque can be equated to. So here also the FTD is trying to rotate the gear, or it is involved in the power transmission. So torque will be equal to the tangential component FTD into the radius of gear D. Radius of gear D is mentioned in this question. So you can substitute and find the value of FTD. Then you will be getting FTD as 15,900 Newton you will be getting. And in a similar way, you can find the FRD, and you are having FRD is equal to FTD into tan alpha. So you can obtain this value of FRD also. You will be getting FRD as 5,787 Newton. Now you are having the all the force components, that is radial and tangential components at both of this position. Now you can draw the different loading diagrams and draw the or find the bending moment, net bending moment. So we'll be seeing that in the next. So now we are having the different forces acting on these gears, and in which plane they are acting we can see in this figure. So at location D, the force acting will be transferred to the shaft center where this shaft is to be designed. So FTC will be acting vertically downward, and we have seen the FRC is acting in this direction, which is in a horizontal plane, and it is acting towards right within this figure. And also we have to take the weight of the gear as it is mentioned in the question. And at a gear D also, the tangential force is acting downwards, but the force radial component is acting in an opposite direction with respect to that of FRC. If FRC is acting in this direction, then FRD is acting in the opposite direction. And here also weight we have to take. So here some loads are lying in the vertical plane and some loads are lying in the horizontal plane. So you have to consider both vertical and loading diagrams, vertical and horizontal loading diagrams in a similar way to the previous problem where we have discussed. So we'll be seeing how to draw this vertical and horizontal loading diagram. So while drawing the vertical loading diagram, you will be considering only the forces which are lying in the vertical plane. So the force which are lying in the vertical plane is FTC and WC at its location C, and FTD and WD at location D. So now for loading diagram, you will be looking from the front, and you can draw the shaft as a line AB, and at the point C, the external load is this one and external load at D is this one. You are knowing all the values of FTC, FTD, and weight is also given in the question. So here you can solve for the reactions RAV and RBV. So if you are solving RAV, you will be getting 8,307 Newton you will be getting, and RBV value will be equal to 14,192 Newton. So this is the value, and with the use of this one, you will be finding the bending moment at a different points, that is MA, MB, and all for this vertical MAV, MBV, MCV, and MDV you can evaluate. And if you are seeing, already we are knowing the full simply supported shaft, MAV is 0, MBV is 0, and for finding the bending moment at C, you will stand on the position C and you can look on to either side. Looking to the left is easier because only one force is there, which is of 8307. So you can evaluate the moment S. This is equal to 8307 into distance between A and C is 0.25 meter, and this will be getting you a value of 2076 Newton meter. So it is 2076 Newton meter. And similarly, you can calculate the bending moment MDV. Then you will be getting this value as 5677 Newton meter you will be getting. So this is the net bending moment at a position C and D for the vertical loading diagram. Similarly, you will be seeing the horizontal loading diagram. So in horizontal loading diagram, you have to take only the external forces which are lying in the horizontal plane. So here at a C, FRC is the force which is lying in horizontal plane, that is acting in this direction, and at a D, FRD is the one which is acting in the opposite direction, lying in the horizontal plane. So now you can see, draw the loading diagram. Shaft is drawn as a line, and FRDs will be acting in this direction, FRC will be acting in this direction, no other forces are there. So now you can solve for the reactions. So I am assuming both reactions are acting in the upward direction. If you are by solving, if you are getting negative sign, then it means that the assumed direction you have to reverse it. So if you are solving this one, you will be getting the value of RAH 763 Newton you will be getting, and RBHS minus 4621 Newton. That means you have to reverse this one. So with the help of this reactions, you will be evaluating the bending moment at different points for the horizontal, that is MAH, MBH, MCH, and MDH you will evaluate. And already we are knowing the value at bending moment A and B is 0, and at C you can evaluate this as by looking onto either side of C. So if you are looking onto the left side, only force is 763 Newton into 0.25 meter, that is 763 Newton into 0.25, and this will be giving you the bending moment as 190 Newton meter. And similarly, you can evaluate the bending moment at MDH. This we will be getting 1848 Newton meter you will be getting. So now we are having the different horizontal components of bending moment at all of these points. Now you can evaluate the resultant bending moment, and finally we can substitute in the equation for finding the. So if you are seeing the net bending moment at A is 0, since its horizontal and vertical components are 0, at B is also 0. So now you are having MCH and MCV, so that you can find the resultant bending moment at C. Then you will be getting, if you are substituting the horizontal and vertical component, you will be getting 2086 Newton meter. You will be getting the resultant bending moment. At a location D, you will be getting 5970 Newton meter. So if you are observing, out of this four positions, the maximum bending moment is coming at a location D. So this should be taken as the value for M to be substituted, and this M will be equal to 5970 Newton meter. And already at the beginning of this question, we have evaluated the net twisting moment or torque, which is 1590 Newton meter. So now you can substitute in this equation for finding the diameter. So equations to be used are shown in this one. Here in the question, it is mentioned to take the value of CM and CT values are given. CM it is mentioned to take a value of 1.5, and CT it is mentioned to take a value of 1.2, and the property sigma y or the sigma y by FIS, that means the allowable stress in tension, they have mentioned to take a value of 100 megapascal. So you have to substitute in SI unit. So this value should be 100 into 10 raised to 6, and you can solve this one and obtain the diameter according to this theory. Then you will be getting a diameter of 97.34 mm. Actually you will be getting units in meters. If you are substituting, then you can convert into mm. You will be getting a diameter of 97.4. And in the, if you are using the second theory, here you have to apply the or use the allowable shear strength, which is given as 56 megapascal or 56 into 10 raised to 6. So if you are substituting, you will be getting the diameter of the shaft as 94.08. So out of this two, the final diameter should be selected as 97.34 mm. So this is the diameter to be. So finally we will be standardizing, or we will be finding the standard size of the shaft for this application. So by solving these two theories of failure, we have obtained the value as 97.34 mm. So we will be selecting the standard size which is coming next higher than this 97.34. Then you can select the diameter as this 100 mm. So the standard size of the shaft for which is suitable for this application will be 100 mm. So this is the solution for this problem. So hope you understood, and thanks for watching.